Once teachers get comfortable with technology, creativity starts to blossom.
Federal guidelines require that we teach internet safety. So we have some very innovative elementary teachers who have taken that a step further and created their own programs to teach the kids in a fun manner.
First, I found this site at pbskids.org that had a little map, and you drive to all these destinations, and you have to answer questions about internet safety. And it forces you to answer the right question. Once you get all the way around the map, a license prints out. That's their temporary license. They can't get their permanent license until they've taken the written test and made 100 on it. When they show me they've made 100, then I take their picture and I print it out on a little, 3x5 card. They have to sign it, and then I laminate that for them. And when you hand them that license, you can see there is so much excitement that they have that little piece of paper, because they feel big, and they feel responsible. They also know that if they break the rules, they're going to get a ticket, and I'll write them a ticket. And if they get so many tickets, they lose their license, and then they have to do defensive driving to be able to get their license back.
Just as the web license program uses technology appropriate for young students, this Spanish teacher creates lessons using technology that's in tune with today's teenagers and their nimble fingers.
I did actually divide my classes up one day and just handed out regular vocabulary words like I would do on any Monday. Monday is vocabulary day. And I had part of the class use just paper dictionaries, and I had the other part of the class use their iPods. And what was interesting to me was the students who used the iPods, not only did they finish quicker, but just in a turnaround of just a few minutes, when I gave them a quiz, they actually remembered more vocabulary words than the students who looked them up in the dictionary. Now, to me, it takes less time to look a word up in the dictionary than it does on a dictionary on an iPod, because you're typing. But what I noticed when I first did this was kids were manipulating with their thumbs, and they were saying the letters with their mouths. It's almost as if they were whispering the letters as they were typing them in.
It's more like hands-on, and it's something that I enjoy doing more, and so I'm more willing to listen and actually learn.
It was helping the kinesthetic learners. It was helping kids, already put those words in their word banks in their minds, much more so than the kids who are using a dictionary.
Simply letting digital natives express themselves through technology often means the difference between tuning in and tuning out.
I had one student, when I did the lesson, that does not care about literary terms at all, does not like to participate, come up to the board, what word am I going to get out of the box? He was excited about what word he was going to draw out of the box into the Mimeo. And I'm thinking, wow, this is amazing. This Mimeo is making it exciting. And that's the difference for me.
Across the board, teachers acknowledge that there's something about the electronic presentation of ideas that draws students in.
And I'm seeing kids that didn't want to do much with pencil paper tasks, they're flying with technology.
One of the most profound benefits that technology provides is in the area of differentiated learning.
We are farther along in being able to meet individual needs with the use of technology than we ever have been able to.
We have our GT students that are very, very creative, and they can do a lot of fun projects and show their creativity, whereas we have some of our struggling students that need it more for basic skills building and review. So it really allows us to adapt, and a tutor in the classroom to help meet everybody's needs.
At the project level, teachers skilled in digital learning often make a point of using technology to address a range of learning styles, like this project focusing on the Odyssey.
I broke down some key components into some stations. The stations allowed me to teach a lot of information at once. The technology came about because I have different students who are very gifted in a lot of different areas. So I thought, well, if they weren't good at one station, the next station they moved to would work a lot better for them. And so it gave them a chance to level the playing field and give everybody a chance to grab onto something that they were good at.
Technology also allows teachers to fine-tune a learning experience that's developmentally appropriate. For example, in ARP, teachers subscribe to the theory that engaging the large muscles along with the mind helps promote learning that sticks with young students. Technology brings those two activities together.
The dance mat gets the whole body involved, and those kids absolutely love it. So when they're looking at the screen, they're actually using large muscles to answer that question. The same thing with the e-blocks. The e-blocks are very tactile, and we get to touch those and move those around and basically bring together the learning of the language arts or the mathematics using that tactile large muscle experience.
That tactile experience even applies to interactive whiteboard activities.
We use the wand in the smaller grades because they're not able to actually reach up to the top level of the smartboard. So the wand helps them to actually have that reach, and as they're dragging things around and moving things across, they have that large muscle involvement. And for younger kids, that's a really big issue. They also write with that wand, so they're learning their letters while they're writing with the wand.
Technology also provides targeted solutions and repetition that can mean the difference between success and failure for special needs students.
We have those that have dyslexia or come to us with low reading scores. So we have several software products that we use, one of them being IQ. It's a software product that trains the eyes and the brain. They follow these bleeps across the screen. It tracks their speed. It tests them before they do the training, and it tests them over the same sort of passage after they've done the training, and it's done wonders.
Additionally, technology is proving invaluable as a tool to move ELL students more rapidly toward English proficiency.
Los proyectos que incluyen la tecnología están mejor para los estudiantes para aprender inglés y el vocabulario. Los estudiantes son más interesados en lo que estamos haciendo y hacen más divertido los proyectos. Entonces los estudiantes quieren hacerlos y quieren hacerlos mejor. Standing there, or she's sitting down at a desk or a table. We're currently creating public service announcements based on the health topics that we have been studying in class. We had them create a script based on a topic of their choice relating to health. Some of the kids have chosen brushing their teeth, physical activity and exercise, washing hands.
Make sure to wash in between the fingers to get rid of germs. Let me show you how.
So they took their topic and we've written scripts, and now we're filming the videos, so it's all the kids doing it hands-on, and I've never been more amazed at how much they've taken it and run with it.
Guys did a great job on that. Good job. All right, so I will upload that.
When we do these kind of videos, they're definitely having to take what they've learned and teach it to somebody else, which is the best way to learn something yourself. And it's great for them. It's great to help their English because they're required to process and think. No longer are you asking them to use the lower levels of Bloom's. It invites them to use the higher level thinking and to create their own products, which require them to analyze things a lot. Not only are they having to come up with it themselves when they write it, they're having to read it and speak it, and they're gonna hear it again when they're editing video. But it's so much more engaging. They want to participate, they want to do well, and they've definitely become more engaged in what we're doing in the classroom.
It's fun because you can express yourself. We get to act and also learn words in English that you didn't know. Like hygiene and all that stuff. Because you say the words, and with a book you just read them. And it's better saying them than read them. The acting was fun. Aprendo más cuando me estoy divirtiendo.
While technology helps students connect with the material, it also helps teachers connect with individual students like never before. The Dino software used in Klein provides the most sophisticated example of this real-time connection.
Dino I use on a daily basis because I do a lot of group work where I'm moving around the room and helping individuals, where I can look across the room at a student's computer and I can see that they haven't done anything in a while, and I can make my way over to that group because I know that one needs to be focused on. From my computer, I can watch all of my students' screens. I immediately get a screenshot of what is on their computer screen, and then if I choose, I can select a computer to actually physically monitor and live stream. I can take control of their computer. If I see that maybe they're not quite getting it, I can like type in hints or redirect them to the way where they need to be. If they're completely off task, I can completely freeze up their computer and send them a message, letting them know, hey, you're off task, you need to get back to what you're supposed to be doing. We can talk back and forth through the computer. I do that quite often, especially kids who are not in my class for one reason or the other. So maybe they're in a study hall. I can get on there and I can communicate with them through the Dino system and help those kids even though they're not in my classroom.
More commonly, teachers connect with their students through classroom blogs or real-time Twitter-like commentary on a class presentation, like the back channel used in a White Oak classroom.
I had read a lot of different blogs from educators saying how useful this was to them in the classroom because it opens up the conversation. You've got students in your classroom that are way too shy to ever raise their hand and speak or be able to contribute anything to the conversation, and how they had found that this opens up the conversation for those kinds of students. So I began to do some search, and I found this site called todaysmeet.com. They type in their name, they hit join, and then it's just like Twitter, it gives you 140 characters to type a message. And the most recent message comes on top. So everybody that's on that web page at that time can read what everybody else is writing. I noticed a couple of things. Number one, every single student was totally engaged in the video. Every single one. I've got students that would not ever sit down and watch a video in a classroom if people were just watching a video. Their eyes would glaze over and they would be gone somewhere in their mind. Every single student is engaged because they're not only watching the video, but they're seeing what other people post, and that takes them back to the video, and that keeps their mind engaged. Number two, I noticed a student this morning that has never contributed anything that I know of to any of his class work, and he was posting some of the most unbelievable comments and observations. And so another thing that it showed me is it kind of lets you see into their mind for a minute. I mean, you get to see what they're actually thinking because, especially at this age, when they get on the computer, they're pretty transparent. And so they are more likely to type what they think or what they're feeling than if you're trying to have a conversation with them or even if they're trying to write.
An ordinary classroom blog can have the same liberating effect on shy kids.
They're often very, very smart. They're just shy. They are not confident.
Most of the time I don't like to raise my hand and I don't like to be called out and, have everybody else know that I'm not understanding.
I've started a blog in my classroom, and so now instead of having to raise their hand and answer questions in class, they can type their answer in, and instead of just reaching the ones who talk a lot, now I'm reaching all of my students.